how a population growth is represented. So here is population density, which will be represented with the alphabet capital N. Okay, so how is it increased? With the help of natality, which is birth rate, represented as capital B, with the help of immigration, which is represented with capital I. Emigration, okay, this is increased by immigration and natality, whereas population density will be decreased with this immigration and mortality, which is death rate. So it is represented by T. So if we have to write an equation for population density, equation for population density, then it will be NT. Okay, so the population density will be represented by NT. That means population density at time T. Okay, we have to, when we are talking about a population, we always have to consider a particular time. So if we are counting a population density, that will be at a particular time. So NT represents population density at time T. Okay, population density at time T is NT. How do we write it then? N0 plus B plus I minus D plus E. Okay, so this is how we write the equation for population density. NT represents population density at time T, whereas N0 represents initial population density. Okay, now for example, I have given you a time frame of 1 year in order to count the number of population density for lions in a particular forest. Okay, now let's take population density. We have to calculate. Now, if we are talking about a lion population, then imagine now we have to calculate the population density at time T. That means if I am calculating the number of population of lions in a particular forest, now I have to look into initial population density. That means once we started this counting of population density, what was the number of lions? Let's take the previous example. When we started the count for this particular lion population, the population was 10. The lion population was 10 when we started the count for this particular population. So this becomes initial population density. Okay, so when we started with this population density count, the initial count of lions were 10. I told you after 1 year you have to count it again. That becomes this. Okay, population density at particular time. That may be after 1 year. Okay, so plus, let's consider birth rate. Okay, imagine in this, out of these 10 lions, one lioness has given birth to a new cub. So that becomes 1. So only one birth in whole year, there was only one birth. Only one cub was born for a lioness. There was only, the birth rate is only 1. Plus I, immigration. Okay, immigration is lions coming from some other, from somewhere else to this particular population. Imagine that was 0. No lions came newly to this particular population. Death. Okay, imagine there was one old lion, okay, which died in that particular year. Emigration. How many lions left this particular population and went somewhere else? That is also 0. Okay, no lions left this particular population and went somewhere else. Okay, now if you have to count the population density at time t. So it becomes 10 plus 1 plus 0, 1 minus 1. Okay. 10 plus 1 minus 1, 0. So NT will be 10. So the population density at time t, that means if you are counting the population after 1 year, it is going to remain the same. Why? Because even though there was one death, there was one birth also. Okay, similar way, if we are doing this in practical, then we can write the realistic numbers and get the realistic data. This is just for your understanding. I am giving this particular data. Okay, so NT is population density at time t. N0 means initial population density. That means if we are counting the population density in a span of 1 year, when we started the count, what was the number of lions? Then NT is what I am doing today. Imagine last year on the same day you had counted the number of lions as 10. Today when you are counting, this becomes your initial population density. That means when you started the population density count, this was the number of lions. After that, for 1 year, all these changes were done. So today, when I am talking about population density at time t, this is the number of population density. Okay. So now, if I am t plus 1 population density at the time t plus 1, then N0 will become NT. Okay, so this becomes the population density at time t plus 1. Population density at time t plus 1, this becomes the population density. However, in a simple way, if we are talking about the equation for population density, this is the equation for population density. We have to consider 4 important factors, 4 important processes: birth rate, immigration, death rate, emigration. Here you can see birth rate and immigration we have added it under a single bracket. That means these two are adding into the population density. Whereas D and E, death rate and emigration, we are adding under the single bracket, because they are decreasing the population density. They are reducing the population density. So this is the equation for population density. With this we have completed the topic population density. So when we are talking about population density, it is the population size. How many individuals are there in a particular population? That becomes population density. The population density will be changed depending upon 4 important processes, that is mortality, natality, immigration and emigration. So out of these 4, immigration and natality will add on to the population, where mortality and emigration will decrease the population. If we have to write the formula for population density, it is going to be this way. Okay, so this is the formula for population density. We are considering B, I, D and E. Okay, so the next topic that we will be dealing with is population growth models. Okay, there is certain way how population grows. Okay, there are certain ways how a population grows. So in order to explain this population growth, there are 2 important models known as population growth models. This last point, it says population density will increase if B plus I is more than D plus E. Okay, so it is quite obvious, if the birth rate and immigration rate is more than the death rate and emigration rate, then this particular population density is going to increase. Okay, it will show a hike. Okay, so we were talking about population growth models, how a particular population grows. In order to explain that, we have 2 models. Okay, so there are 2 models of population growth. One is known as exponential growth. Second one is known as logistic growth. Okay, first one is known as exponential growth. Second one is known as logistic growth. Okay, so these are the two models, exponential growth model, logistic growth model. These two are the models proposed in order to explain how a population grows. Okay, before going into the actual topic, let me just give you a simple explanation about this population growth model. Now imagine in the laboratory, I want to grow some bacteria. What I do is, I will take a Petri plate, I will add some media into it. Media means, it's a formula, it's a preparation which contains all the required nutrition for that particular bacteria. Okay, I will take a Petri plate, I will add the media. Media includes all the nutritions required for the bacteria. Then I will inoculate some bacteria into it. I will add some bacteria into the media. Okay, bacteria, as you all know, it generally takes 1 hour to reproduce. Okay, so what I do is, I will take the Petri plate, I will add the media, I will add some bacteria into it. I will inoculate the bacteria into it. Now I know the number of bacteria, like I have added almost 10 bacteria into it. Okay, into the media. Initially, I have inoculated only 10 bacteria. Now, after 1 hour, usually bacteria completes its life cycle and it reproduces in 1 hour. After 1 hour, if I look into the number of bacteria, it might be somewhere around 100. Okay. Again, I will give some time. I will check after 1 hour. The bacteria's number will be 1000. Okay, it keeps increasing. Why? Because you have added enough media or nutrition, you have given enough nutrition which we call as resource in the term in ecology. Okay, I have given enough resource to the bacteria to grow and develop and reproduce. Okay, now the bacteria's number will increase. Till when it will increase? Till the media is over. All the nutrition in the media is over. However, if I supply the nutrition again, the number of bacteria keeps growing. Okay, when I am giving an unlimited resource, there is no limit or there is no end to the resource supply. What happens? The bacteria number keeps increasing. It will multiply in thousands, lakhs, okay, together in a particular Petri plate. However, if I am providing the same bacteria with very less amount of resource or nutrition, the bacteria, in the first case, the bacteria, let's finish the first case. In the first case, what happens is the number of bacteria keeps on increasing. Why? Because you are giving unlimited resource to the bacteria. Okay, so the bacterial growth or the number of population. Okay, for bacteria also we can use this term population. Okay, the bacterial population increase more and more. That means the population density or the population size for this particular bacteria increases more and more. Okay, so that is known as, this type of growth is known as exponential growth. Okay, exponential means something is growing very rapidly. Okay, something is growing very rapidly, that is known as exponential growth. Okay, I am giving unlimited resource to the bacteria. Bacteria keeps on multiplying, it keeps on reproducing, it produces multiple number of bacteria. Okay, there is no end to it. So such type of growth is known as exponential growth. When we talk about growth, it is not the increase in the size. I want all of you to clearly understand this concept. When we talk about growth, it is not the increase in the size, it is increase in number. Okay, the population density or population size is counted in terms of number of individuals. Okay, not that the person becomes tall and hefty, that becomes growth. No, that doesn't represent growth. Growth means increase in number of individuals. So initially you added 10 bacteria, now it is 100, thousands, it is now in lakhs together. So that is known as growth. Population growth, population density or increase in the population size. Okay, so this is increase in the population density or population size when the number of individuals increase. So that becomes exponential growth. Okay, this can happen naturally in the environment also. Okay, let's take the number of let's take an example of fish. When many phytoplanktons or zooplanktons are available in the pond, the number of fish increase. Okay, it keeps on increasing. It will keep on increasing. The number of fish reaches to the maximum. That is known as exponential growth. That means there is no end to the growth. The resources are unlimited and the organism is also reproducing more and more in number. That becomes exponential growth. Then what is logistic growth? Logistic is a very organized growth. Okay, exponential growth generally does not happen in normal environment or normal ecosystem, because in the normal ecosystem all the resources are limited. No resources are unlimited. Okay, all the resources are limited. Only when they make use of it efficiently, the population size will increase. Okay. Then what about logistic growth? Imagine you are taking one Petri plate, you are adding limited nutrition to it and you inoculate the bacteria into it. Then the number of bacteria increases. Okay, when the number of bacteria increases till it gets sufficient nutrition from the media. Once the media is lacking the nutrition, okay, or once the bacteria is lacking the nutrition, the stop growth of bacteria will be ceased. Okay, or the number of individuals, that increase in the number of bacterial cell will cease. Okay, the bacteria will reach a particular population density and the growth will stop. That becomes logistic growth. When we talk about both the population, exponential growth is not realistic. This generally does not happen in real, whereas logistic growth is very realistic. It is more realistic. Okay, this happens in real life situations. So this is about exponential growth and logistic growth. Let's study in detail about both exponential growth and logistic growth. So this is exponential growth. Exponential growth can also be known as geometric growth. Okay, here you can read this now. Species growing exponentially under unlimited resources reach enormous population density in short time. Okay, now I inoculate the bacteria in a particular medium by providing it a lot of resources. After 24 hours, if I see the number of populations, the number of bacteria in that particular population is very high number when compared to the initial population density of bacteria. Okay, so this is referred as enormous population density in short time. Okay, when you give a lot of resources, definitely that population density is going to increase in very short time. Okay, here growth is not so realistic. Okay, this doesn't happen in real life. Okay, in real scenarios. So this type of growth is not realistic. Okay, now if we have to explain this exponential growth with the help of a graph, this is how we explain it. So if you see here, this is a graph showing x-axis and y-axis. In the x-axis we have time, in the y-axis we have population size. For example, initially I have inoculated the media with few bacteria. Okay, now as the time goes, as the time is spent, the population size also increases. Okay, along with the time, the population size, that means the number of bacteria also increase, that is population size also increases. If you see, initially the population size was very less, there were only 10 bacteria, then it became 10, 100, 1000, 10,000 lakhs, and in 10 lakhs it started increasing. It keeps on growing till the resources are the resource becomes limiting. That means the supply of resources stopped. Okay, so this is a J-shaped curve. So generally J-shaped curve is obtained for exponential growth. Okay, so J-shaped curve is obtained, here itself I have mentioned. So a J-shaped curve is obtained for exponential growth. That means there is no end to this particular growth. It keeps on growing. As long as the resources are unlimited, it keeps on growing. Their growth does not stop. Similar with the population size also. In the y-axis we have plotted population size. Population size will keep on increasing depending upon the time. Okay, so this is exponential growth. We can take this graph for any particular species. It clearly indicates that when there are resources, then there is no stop for this growth. Okay, or the growth of population density. The population density keep on increasing, or the population keep on growing. Okay, till if the resources are unlimited. But naturally it does not happen. One or the other factors become limiting. Right? So this is the exponential growth model, or this is the graph showing exponential growth where there is a J-shaped curve is obtained. Now if you have to write the formula for exponential growth or write the equation for exponential growth, it is dN by dt is equal to Rn. Okay, so the equation for exponential growth is dN by dt is equal to Rn. Here also I have mentioned dN by dt is equal to Rn. What is dN? What is n? Population size. Okay, here we are making use of integration. Okay, so what is n? Population size. What is t? Time. Okay, so this is n, population size. This is t, time. So we are plotting this. dN by dt, population size per time, okay, is equal to Rn. So what is R? Intrinsic rate of natural increase. This R represents B minus D, that means birth rate minus death rate. Okay, so R is an indicator of B minus D. So in place of R you can also write B minus D. Okay, so B minus D is birth rate minus death rate. So again n is population size. So dN by dt is equal to Rn. N is population size, T is time, R is intrinsic rate of natural increase, that is B minus D. So what is dN by dt? Increase or decrease in n during time t. So what does this represent? When we talk about n, it is population size, t, it is time. When we say dN by dt, that is, it could be increase in the population size or decrease in the population time. This formula indicates both increase or decrease in the population size in the time t, during time t. So this is the formula for exponential growth. This is very important. Exponential growth and logistic growth are both are very important topics for your examination. Okay, here when resources are unlimited, we get a continuous growth. Population size keep growing according to the time, along with the time. So this is the formula that we use. dN by dt is equal to increase or decrease in the population size during time t. So n is population size, t is time, R is intrinsic rate of natural increase, which represents B minus D. So if you have to write the integral form of the same equation, okay, if we are taking this equation, and if we are writing the integral form of this particular exponential growth equation, it becomes this way. You know more of integration. Nt is equal to n0 e to the power rt. Okay, whereas n0 is initial population density. We have already discussed about n0. N0 becomes initial population density, and e is the base of natural logarithm. The value is 2.71828. Okay, so this is the integral formula of your exponential growth equation, which is this. dN by dt is equal to Rn. This is the integral formula of it. So here N0 represents initial population density. That means you started the study with 10 bacteria. So that becomes your initial population density. So E becomes your base of natural logarithms. The value is this. Okay, so this is all about exponential growth. It is very easy to understand. Species growing exponentially under unlimited resources reach enormous population density in short time. So that means if you are supplying this any species with unlimited resources, they will reach enormous, that means very large population density in a very short time or during very short duration. So here growth is not so realistic. Okay, this does not naturally happen in the atmosphere, in the ecosystem. So let's move on to the next type of growth model. Okay, since we are talking about growth models, population growth models, we are done with first exponential growth, then we will move on to the logistic growth. Okay, let's see what is logistic growth. I have already explained logistic growth. When resources are limited for growth, no population can grow exponentially. That means when resources are unlimited, any population will grow exponentially. But when resources are limited, no population can grow enormously or unlimitedly. Okay, no population can grow exponentially. When you are giving particular resource, when you are giving only limited resource, no population can grow exponentially. Okay, so this is a more realistic one. The logistic growth model is a more realistic one. Okay, this is the real type of growth that happens in any ecosystem. Here what happens is, here you read this, fittest individual will survive and reproduce. Now you are giving one deer, that is a limited resource, to 10 lions. Okay, you are giving only one deer to 10 lions. So the population size is 10. Right? Population density is 10 for that particular lion population. Now, if you are giving only one deer, that deer is a resource for those 10 lions. But that is a limited resource. If you are giving one deer to one lion each, then that becomes, that is not a limited resource. Whereas you are giving one deer to 10 lions, that becomes a limited resource. So what happens? Who will eat this? Who will eat this deer? Fittest individual will survive and reproduce. That means the lion who is who is the fittest among those 10 will acquire this particular deer. It will come, it will kill, and it will eat that particular deer. Even though there were 10 lions, only one particular lion is capable enough of eating that particular deer. The other 9 are not fit enough to conquer it. Okay, so here fittest individual will survive and reproduce. When you give unlimited resource or unlimited food, when we talk about resource, it can not only be food, it could be any resource which is helpful for the growth of a particular animal or any particular population. It could be a bacteria, fungi, animal, plant, any microorganisms. Okay, so when you are giving unlimited resource, any population will grow because there is no competition, there is no fighting. Whereas when you give limited resource to a population, only those organisms who are fit enough will fight, and it will you will make use of that particular resource. Others will not be able to make use of that particular resource. They will not be able to reproduce. Okay, when I say they survive, they make use of the resource, and they start growing. Not only not by size, they reproduce and produce more and more individuals. Okay, so the fittest individual will survive and reproduce. This is what Charles Darwin has said, survival of the fittest. The organism which is fittest will survive in the particular ecosystem. The organism which is weak or not fit will be deleted from the history of your from the natural ecosystem itself. Okay. So then in this logistic growth we have to know this term known as carrying capacity. Here you see it is represented with alphabet K. Okay, now if you read this, every ecosystem has limited resources to support a maximum number of individuals, called its carrying capacity. Every ecosystem, okay, you know what is ecosystem? It is a combination of both biotic and abiotic components together. Every ecosystem, it has some resource, okay, and that resource will be sufficient to carry out, that resource will be sufficient for the growing and the life of one particular number of individuals. If more number of individuals coming for the same resource, then that particular ecosystem will not be able to take care of those new individuals. So every ecosystem has a carrying capacity. So it knows how many organisms can I carry inside my ecosystem. Okay, so every ecosystem will have particular resource. It has limited resource. Okay, that limited resource will be sufficient for limited number of individuals, for one particular group of individuals. If more individuals are coming and joining for this limited resource, then the ecosystem cannot take care of all those individuals. It has a capacity. It has a capacity to take care of certain number of individuals because it has only that particular, that much of resource. If other organisms are coming, your ecosystem will not be able to take care of it. That is known as carrying capacity. Every ecosystem has limited resources to support a maximum number of individuals, called its carrying capacity. Ecosystem will still thrive. Okay, when new individuals are coming, the ecosystem will definitely thrive. When the number of individuals reaches maximum, above that, any ecosystem will not be able to take care of those particular individuals. Okay, it has limited resources. There are certain organisms which are depending on these resources. The ecosystem will definitely, it will take care of those individuals. However, if more and more individuals are coming, it will still try. It will still try to hold maximum number of individuals. Above one particular level, the capacity of the ecosystem is no more capable of taking care of any new individuals coming in. That becomes the carrying capacity of any particular ecosystem. It is represented with the alphabet capital K. Okay. Now, this logistic growth equation is this. Okay. The equation is same like your exponential growth equation. dn by dt is equal to Rn. However, here there is an addition, k minus n divided by k. Okay, it is known as Verhulst-Perl logistic growth. Okay, this term is used, Verhulst-Perl logistic growth equation. Okay, so if you look into this equation, it is same as this equation. dn by dt is equal to Rn. dn by dt is equal to Rn. However, we have addition here, k minus n divided by k. N, as you all know, it is population density at time t. Okay, here also it is the same population size at time t. R, again same, intrinsic rate of natural increase, which indicates B minus D. Here we have addition K. K is carrying capacity. Okay, so this is the equation for logistic growth. dn by dt is equal to Rn, K minus n divided by K. Okay, K is the carrying capacity where everything else remains the same as exponential growth equation. Now, if you look into the graph for this logistic growth, you will see this is a sigmoid curve. Okay, now this is the population size, this is time. Here, imagine you are growing a bacteria. Okay, you are giving limited resource. You are giving resource here, one particular amount of resource to the bacteria. Bacteria's initial number was this. It slowly starts growing. Okay, it slowly starts growing. Ultimately, this is known as carrying capacity. Okay, here that Petri plate can be referred as an ecosystem. Okay, it can be compared with an ecosystem. That Petri plate has very limited resource to allow the growth of any more bacteria. So here the carrying capacity is over. This is the carrying capacity of that particular media or that particular Petri plate. Here in that Petri plate, when the resource becomes limited or the resource start depleting, the growth of population for that bacteria also, it stops. Okay, here it was increasing because there were resources, sufficient resources. When carrying capacity was reached, no more individuals will be taken care of by that particular Petri plate or the media which is present in it. So the growth of the bacteria ceases. Till the carrying capacity, the bacteria will grow. When the carrying capacity is reached, no more growth of that particular bacteria because the resource becomes limiting. Okay, the resource becomes limited, so the bacteria cannot grow anymore, so the population size do not increase. Okay, where in case of exponential growth, the number of bacteria, the population size kept on increasing because there were unlimited resources. Here there is carrying capacity. There is limited resource, so there is a carrying capacity. Okay, so the carrying capacity is reached, resources become limited, so the bacterial number also does not increase. So the population size will cease at this particular time, will stop. Okay, so here this is the formula, dN by dt is equal to Rn into K minus N divided by K. This is the formula used for logistic growth. Here this curve is known as sigmoid curve. Okay, so this curve is known as sigmoid curve, whereas this curve is known as J-shaped curve. Okay, sigma. So this is a sigmoid curve. So you have to know the difference between exponential growth and logistic growth. Here in exponential growth, the growth is obtained where resources are unlimited. Here growth is obtained when resources are limited. Okay, here the population can grow exponentially. Here the population cannot grow exponentially. Here it is not a realistic one. Here it is a realistic one. Okay. Oh, here only fittest individual will survive and reproduce. Here all the organisms will survive and reproduce. Okay. So the equation is dN by dt is equal to Rn. Here the equation is dN by dt is equal to Rn into K minus N divided by K. Okay. So here you know the factors. Here J-shaped curve is obtained. Here sigma shaped curve is obtained because this has limited resource, and when there is limited resource, every ecosystem has a carrying capacity. So population size increase along with the time, but at a particular time the population size will it will start ceasing. It will not increase further. This is a more realistic one. This is what happens in natural habitat also. Okay. This is all about exponential growth and logistic growth. These are the two population growth models. Generally, how population growth happens. Okay, when we talk about population growth, does population keep on increasing? Okay, population will not keep on increasing, because there are certain factors which actually controls the population growth. Okay, the factors are resources. So we are done with exponential growth and logistic growth. Let's talk about something called as very simple topic, life history variations. Darwin spoke about something known as survival of the fittest. You have studied in your school times also. Okay, survival of the fittest. Who is fit enough, he will survive in this particular nature. Who is not fit, he will be deleted. Okay, the organism, when I say he, it's not referring to a male. Okay, when I'm talking about the fittest, any organism who is fit enough to survive in a particular habitat will survive there, and that organism will reproduce. The organism which is not fit enough, it will not survive, it will not reproduce, it will be eliminated from the nature. Okay, so Darwin's fitness, that is survival of the fittest concept. It refers to reproductive fitness. Okay, this is in order to explain that when we talk about fitness, it is not being very tall and being, building your body and being fit. That is not fitness. Fitness, according to Darwin, is we will call any organism as a fit organism only when it reproduces more and more in number. Okay, as you all know, dinosaurs were the strongest animal ever lived on earth. However, now we will not be able to find even a single dinosaur on the surface of earth. Why so? Weren't they very fit? Okay, if the question arises, weren't all your dinosaurs fit enough to stay on the earth? They were definitely fit, but they were physically very fit, but they were reproductively not fit. That means they could not produce more and more offsprings. When we talk about fitness, it is not the body fitness, it is the fitness in reproduction. Okay, according to Darwin, he said only those organisms who are reproductively fit, only those organisms who will produce more and more number of offsprings, they are selected by the nature and they will survive in the nature. Okay, whereas dinosaurs, even though they were physically fit, they did not produce more and more offspring, so they were not reproductively fit. Okay, the reproductively fit organisms are the actual, is the actual fitness that Darwin was talking about. Now, organisms, they adopt most efficient reproductive strategy suited to their habitat. Okay, every organism, the reproductively fit organisms know when to reproduce and how to reproduce. Okay, dinosaurs, as we were talking, even though they were very fit, where they were the strongest animal ever lived on earth, they did not know how to reproduce and when to reproduce. Okay, they were reproductively not fit, so they were extincted from the nature. Okay, organisms, they know certain ways and as on to how to reproduce and when to reproduce, and they will plan their own strategy in order to carry out the reproduction depending upon their habitat, the place where they are living. Examples: there are animals who will breed once in a lifetime. Breed means they will carry out sexual reproduction and produce offspring. Is the term breeding, is the meaning of this term breed. Breed means mating, that means sexual reproduction and production of offsprings. They breed, only few organisms breed once in lifetime. Example: Pacific salmon fish and bamboo. Okay, they are the organisms who will breed once in lifetime. Pacific salmon fish and bamboo. There are organisms who will breed many times in lifetime. Birds and mammals are the examples. There are organisms who will produce large number of small sized offsprings. Okay, there are organisms who will produce large number of small sized offsprings. Example: oysters and pelagic fishes. The last category is the organisms who will produce small number of large sized offsprings. Example: birds and mammals. So these are the different organisms carrying out different types of reproduction or breeding. There are organisms who will breed once in lifetime. That means they will they will carry out sexual reproduction, they will produce offsprings, and then they will die. Okay, so this is what happens in few organisms. Few organisms, they breed many times in lifetime. That means throughout their lifetime they will carry out sexual reproduction and they will keep producing offsprings. Birds and mammals are the examples. Few organisms, they will produce quite lot number of offsprings, but it will be smaller in number. Examples, fishes. Few organisms will produce very small number of large sized offsprings. Okay, so the examples are birds and mammals. So this is about the life history variations. It was proposed by Charles Darwin. So we say Darwinian fitness. So next class we will start with this topic, population interaction. That is also a very important topic for your examination. Okay, this is not that important. Okay, I hope all the topics that we have covered today are very clear to you. If you have any doubts, you can get back to me. Thank you.